And we're back on the show. We got DiDi LeMay, children's author, on the Skype from Bowmanville. And DiDi, where are you? You got your little labradoodle poodle doodle?
Yes, I have my golden doodle here with me. I'm in my office in Bowmanville.
Yeah, the cute little doggy.
And you have a cat, too.
Yes, I have a cat, and he's actually my assistant.
Oh.
My executive assistant. So when I work too hard, he'll lie on my keyboard, and I can't work.
Oh, so he wants to make sure you have that work-life balance thing happening,
That's
right?
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I get it.
That's
I get it. Yeah.
Has he ever hit a key, and that key was a beginning of a whole new chapter or story sentence?
No, but he actually destroyed my old laptop.
Really?
He took off the keys with his paw.
Right.
So I now have a brand new laptop because of that.
Well,
see, is it key proof?
No.
Instead of kid proof, we got to go cat proof now instead of kid proof.
Yeah, the only way to do that is to close the laptop every time I'm done.
So, DiDi, what have you it's been a while since we've seen you, but
Yes.
great to have you back. And what have you been working on lately?
Oh my goodness, I've got 2 more books out. I have my latest book is called The Big Blue Bed Monster. It's for the younger kids. It's for the 2, 3, 4-year-olds. And it's a friendly monster, and he actually comes to visit the kids when they're afraid of the dark, and he sings songs to them, tells them funny stories, and then they don't have any problems going to sleep.
Wow, that's great. So how old is this book for? How old are the kids?
For 2, 3, 4-year-olds.
2, 3, and 4 years. So this is the kind of thing a parent would read to a child at nighttime?
Yes. So basically what it is, it helps the parents actually also, because what will happen then is the children want to go to bed because they want to listen to the story.
Right.
And then they don't have the fear of bed because, a lot of the little kids have a little bit of fear of going to bed. So friendly monster will come out and visit them.
And it helps them to sleep on their own too, right? Because the children will often want to sleep with the mom or the dad.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Well, my sister really could have used that when she had her son. You're 15 years too late now, but boy, she could have used that.
Well, that's a really good point. Now, but now I'm going back to when I was that age, DiDi, and for a kid, the illustrations are really important, aren't they, or are they?
Yes, they are, and the more colorful they are, the better it is, because it really attracts the attention for them and grabs their attention.
Yeah, there's stuff that I remember being interested, but I remember there's this book that I used to like called Ping. Do you remember that book?
Ping? I know that book, yes.
Do you remember that? It was about a kid growing up on the Yangtze River. And anyway, he was eating these rice cakes. And I was looking at those illustrations. I could practically taste the rice cakes. And even now, my mouth is watering at the thought of those rice cakes.
Yeah.
So I think
it's very important, and the visual is very important.
Yeah, I think there's something communicated through the pictures that in this instance, it actually affected my sense of taste, right? So there's a lot going on there with the little kids. What inspires you to be doing this stuff?
It's a really good question. It's hard to explain. There are things that happen during that day-to-day life that just triggers a thought, and that thought will then get developed into a story. And for me, for instance, The Big Blue Bed Monster was inspired by a friend of mine who had a 3-year-old boy, and he was so scared of the dark, and I thought, why don't I give him that gift? And I wrote him the story. And so that's how this character developed.
Now, do you have children, or have you had?
I don't have kids.
That's interesting.
It never happened for me. So, yeah, it's.
And you've never worked with kids?
I work with kids a lot. I've done some arts and crafts with kids, interacting with kids, with storytelling. I go out with my books, of course. So, yes, I'm interacting with kids all the time. As a matter of fact, right now I'm also featured in one of the restaurants here in Bowmanville, where I have a board where I put things up, and we actually do things for the kids there. I have placemats for them to color. We do coloring contests. We have for Family Day, we developed actually a coupon booklet so that they can give to their parents with one big hug, or I'll do the dishes, or I'll clean my room, and this type of thing. So that's what we were doing for that. So I'm interacting with the kids there as well.
So you really relate to kids then?
Yeah. I never grew up. I'm this good kid myself.
Yeah, I wonder, I didn't grow up either, and I know Sandra hasn't.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I don't have kids either, but I do find that, I have animals, and I find that kind of is, it brings out the kid in me.
Oh, for sure. I'm telling you, having my doggie Rosie and my cat Harley, I'm telling you, they are my little kids.
Actually, we're going to have someone on in a couple of weeks whose dog wrote a book.
Oh,
Mr. Ito is the dog, and he wrote a book.
I know Mr. Ito.
But yeah, I know.
Oh.
We're going to get him on the show. But
let me tell you, Harley and Rosie actually have written some things as well. Now, Harley has his blog, and Rosie and Harley wrote a He Said, She Said. So they're talented as well.
That's really kind of cool.
They probably taught you everything you know, right?
I'm sorry?
They taught you everything you know.
Oh, of course. Yeah, they have the talent. They're teaching me a lot.
See, Sandra's only saying that because Kat's taught Sandra everything she knows.
That's true. That's exactly right.
Now, DiDi, so we were just talking to Stephen Weir. I don't know if you watched the interview, but he's a book promoter, right? And he's
excellent.
He brought us all these books, but he was talking about how that the whole book culture seems to be disappearing, that people are switching to ebooks and stuff like that. But I'm thinking that at least especially the book that you were just talking about, that doesn't exactly work as an ebook. There's really something to be said for having the book, sitting down with the child, reading the book, having it there, and having the pictures there, that I don't think you'll ever be able to get that from electronic media.
No, you know what? I've struggled with that for quite a while, because obviously an ebook is a little easier to produce. However, I feel as a children's author, I don't want to go there, because I want to have the children to have the feel of the book and to really, move the pages and look at the pictures and actually touch it. So I've decided not to go that route, not for the younger children. If I go for the older children, I might have it as an informative program, so that it'd be an app more, so that they would learn things through the book.
An app, so you're actually getting into that maybe, in app development for kids' literature.
Yes, we're kind of playing with that idea.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. So you're also now these book. Sorry, what was that one called with the friendly monster?
The Big Blue Bed Monster.
The Big Blue Bed Monster. Okay, but you've written other books that actually are designed for maybe a bit older kids to actually read themselves, right?
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that and how that's a different process, maybe from writing a book that's meant to be read to
the
younger
development
kids?
of the story is different.
Yeah.
And usually what I do is I start writing the story, and believe it or not, the characters start to develop their own storyline, and you kind of follow the flow on that. Now, the other book that I have is Freddy's French Fries Fiasco. And Freddy's French Fries Fiasco, I actually specifically wrote that for childhood obesity, to help with that and get kids active and eating healthy. And with that book, I've actually been working with an organization called Their Opportunity. And this is an organization in Oshawa. And what they do there is they help children where the families are low income, and that the children don't have the opportunity to actually go into sports. And so what they've done there is they're helping kids to go into sports.
So what age group is this book geared towards?
This one would be 7 to 9.
Okay. And so obviously obesity is a really big problem. We were actually talking about that a little earlier with David on not just particularly young kids, but it's a very big a big issue right now. So these books, you seem to write with a cause or an issue in mind to deal with some sort of either it's a health or some sort of psychological issue. Is that fair to say?
It doesn't always start out that way, but it ends up that way because it's coming from my heart. And that's where I find that the voice comes from my heart. It just develops that way.
It always seems like there's... Sorry, Hugh, you want to say something? I was going to say, it just seems like it's always about a positive message.
Oh, yes, for sure. I am so adamant about a positive message. There are so many negative things already in the world. We don't need more. Talk about that more and more. We just want to give more positive messages out there.
But I'm wondering, though, isn't there a room for just a fun story that may not have a moral to it or a message? And I wonder if that's if there are any kids' stories like that. I don't know. If the books that I read when I was a kid, like I'm thinking the 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins, that was one of mine that I liked, but I'm not sure what the lesson there was.
Well, I mean, the stories themselves are fun in itself. So I don't know if everybody takes a message away from it, but my idea is to give some sort of message to help the children.
Well, you know what? If you can make it fun and deliver a positive message, so much the better, right? Because if you can make someone feel good about themselves, about losing weight, or being able to fall asleep, because those things can have psychological scars on people, on children. So if you can make it fun and you make it okay,
yeah, exactly,
and that's how you can get through the problem, right? If you can't talk about it, and if other kids have it, and in a book other kids would have it, it makes you feel like you're normal, right?
Yeah. No, and that's why I just want to make sure that the book is out there and the children have a chance to actually read it and with their parents and, work with the parents and have fun with the parents.
So, go ahead. I'm cutting you off, Hugh.
What's the oldest that you write for in terms of the target audience?
For now, I have another book as well called Blackie and the Glacier. Now, that's a very interesting book, actually. It originated as a Russian story. And it was translated into English, and I had the opportunity to read that. And the writer actually gave me the opportunity to rewrite the story in English and for the Canadian audience. And that book is actually, I would say, more to 10, 11, 12. And that's how far I got so far. Now, I am working on some other things that are for older children. Yeah. I'm not sure yet how old it develops on its own.
Yeah, because that's interesting. I mean, I don't know. For the younger kids, of course, the books are short. And then as the kids get older, they can, I would suspect you get the opportunity to tell a longer story that almost could even get to, novel length.
Yeah, I would call it more of a chapter book for now.
Yeah.
Novel.
Sorry, what's that book called? Blackie and the
Glacier.
Glacier.
Yeah.
Is there a message in that one?
It's a little bit environmental. Okay. It has a little bit of a magical story as well, where Blackie is a little French Bulldog that lives in Lapland, and he meets a magical reindeer, and they actually have magical adventures together.
Well, now that sounds really good.
I mean, I think that's interesting. That's interesting that you have the opportunity here to take a book from a completely different culture, right, and then bring it into English. So for the Canadian, but I would presume the whole English-speaking world, right?
I hope so.
Is that the first time you're actually taking another writer's book and? I mean, I know you're rewriting it in English, which is probably a better thing to do than translate, right?
Oh, but I didn't translate because I have no knowledge of Russian whatsoever.
Yeah.
So somebody else translated it for me.
But now you're rewriting it. You're not just editing it. You're actually kind of rewriting it.
I'm rewriting the whole story. And I'm keeping the base story, of course, because that's what the whole thing is. But what I'm doing is I'm adapting it to the Canadian culture.
Okay. All right.
Oh, that would be interesting. So how much, for something like that, how much research do you have to do?
Well, there's a lot of research involved. And one of the things that I found, there's a scene in that book where Blackie looks into the eyes of the reindeer. And I wanted to give it more description. So what I did is I thought, what color are the reindeer's eyes? And so I went online to check it, and I found out, this is very interesting, I found out that the reindeer's eyes in the winter are blue, ice blue, and in the summer they're amber. They turn color.
I did not, that's true.
I didn't know it either until I researched it. Yeah. So those are the type of things that I find it very important to be correct. Even though it's a fantasy, I find that facts have to be correct.
Now, how do you get these books out there to the parents and to the kids? What do you do? Do you do book launches?
Well, I've done some soft book launches.
Okay.
I've been very busy with events. I've been in, of course, locally we have a lot of events happening. So I was in Maple Fest, which is always in May, and then Oktoberfest, the Apple Fest is in October. And I've been to chapters a few times in the Oshawa Center, so I'm local. As I said before, I'm featured in the restaurant. We have another restaurant that we're looking at to feature, where I have placemats for the kids, and that promotes me as a children's author. And then I get some children, the parents and the children want to have a book as well, so that too. I'm focusing on local.
Yeah.
And I'm very lucky. I have a fan who actually bought 20 books of mine and donated them to the schools through their opportunity. So I was quite lucky with that.
Well, that's, funny you mentioned that, because that's what I was thinking. Some of these books would be the diet one and even the going to sleep one. I think they would be great to be in the school systems. Have you thought about somehow getting it into, I don't know, well, I was going to say TDSB, which is Toronto District School Board, but Durham, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, we're looking at Durham, and we're looking at the Kawartha Lake Regional.
So have you thought about, have you communicated with them?
We've been starting to talk to them as well, and of course the libraries and locally as well.
Right.
Now, what about, I really think it's actually, I was thinking it's like, because we have the opportunity now, just in general, to really have local culture. Right? Because we were talking about how there are so many authors and so forth now. And that was once a global marketplace, but now we have so many creators that we can bring that culture right down to a local level. And that's exactly what you're doing, DiDi.
Yes.
You are a children's book author whose primary market sounds like it's the communities that you're connected to.
Yes.
So you really do have to make it local. It really would lose its.
Well, it's
if it weren't.
That's where you can have a real local market, where you can have a real local economy.
I find it very important to be locally first because you're part of the community.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with families, and you're interacting with the families and being part of their family because your book is in there. And for instance, the Big Blue Bed Monster would then be introduced to the children when they go to bed. So you're part of their whole culture at their home. Yeah. Which I find is very important.
Now, still, taking all that into consideration, though, are people, I am assuming, can order the books from all across the country? Like, can they order your books through Indigo website or Amazon or anything like that?
I am on those. However, I have my own website, of course, and you can actually come through my website and, buy them through my website as well.
And that's DiDiLeMay.com, right?
That's right. That's right.
You probably make more money when they order right through not that it's about the money, right?
But you still got to live. You just want to live doing something you love.
That is so true. You want to do something that you love, because, if you doing things only for the money and you're not happy, oh my goodness, what a burden that is, So this is something that I'm passionate about.
And it doesn't feel like work, right? It doesn't feel like work, right, DiDi?
Oh, no, it doesn't feel like work at all.
Yeah,
I'm always playing.
Yeah, see, that really, really comes through.
So what are you working on? What's next and what's new, DiDi? Is there anything you're working on at the moment that we can look forward to?
Yes. Well, I'm actually republishing my first book. The first book was sold out.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I wasn't 100% happy with the way it looked, so I'm actually republishing it myself. And I'm also starting to write another story. And they have characters in there which are called the Happies and the Snarkies. And that's all I'm going to tell you at this point.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go with this. I'm going with my intuition. I'm happy he's snarky. Is that accurate?
I can be snarky.
That's what I said. I'm happy you're snarky. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, it has to do with a little bit of personalities and interactions. So.
Well, that's...
I'll be snappy. You can be harky. Let's combine them.
Harky? Now, DiDi, so I know you've got the relationships with the restaurant and stuff, but do you do book launches and get a bunch of parents and kids and readers together to celebrate new works of yours?
Well, I do that usually through the festivals here in Bowmanville. So my goals are to get something out for Apple Fest, for instance, for the beginning of May. And then there's the Apple Fest at the end of the season, which is usually in October. And then those are the ones that those are my goals, that I have something to do. And then, of course, we work with a restaurant. We do different things there. And there are a couple of things that I'm doing with them for the children, color contest, and then also some reading, sometimes a breakfast with them. So that's the interaction that I do.
Well, I got to say, DiDi, that sounds great. You know, we have this great new studio here. We can do book launches here. So if you get inspired and you want to do something in Toronto,
maybe with the Toronto District School Board,
we're here for you.
Oh, thank you so much. You're not that far away.
Well, I know the last time we had you here in person, and so I know it's easier for you just to, stay at home and do this.
Last time when I was there in person, I lived 10 minutes away.
Oh, really?
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So what made you move to Bowmanville?
Well, I have a day job.
Okay.
And this day job is managing buildings.
Okay.
So we have a building here that I share the job with my husband, of course. And we're managing a building here. We had the job offer. We jumped on it. We love it here.
Well, it's more small town living than living in the big city.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, most of us.
As much as I love Toronto, I still love Toronto.
Yeah.
But you know what? Most people come
to hustle.
Yeah, yes. And most people come to Toronto for the jobs. If you can go outside to get the job, most people would jump at that.
Yeah. I mean, the hustle and bustle of Toronto is wonderful. And it's busy here, too. But it's not as hectic.
Yeah.
So you can calmly get your job done, and, it's all calm, and,
I know. And it's a totally different lifestyle, actually.
Totally.
Because we all come from smaller towns, too, right? We all came to the big city to seek fame and fortune.
Yeah. Well,
and I found him. And I found him.
Yeah, DiDi, but we'd love to have you here in person sometime. And now, is there anything else that maybe we didn't ask you about that you should let us know about?
Good question.
Well, my goodness, I'm doing well. I'm excited about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, I have fun here. I'm writing every day, and yeah.
And everybody should move to Bowmanville?
Yeah, well, you know what? I would say that because it's so wonderful, but I don't want everybody here because I want to keep it quiet and calm.
Right, because then it becomes Toronto.
It's just, we'll keep Bowmanville a well-kept secret for now. But, DiDi, anyways.
It's not by Peterborough.
It's on the way. It's pretty close.
I'm almost kind of in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, see?
It takes me about an hour and a half. Well, it takes me an hour and a half to get to Toronto. But it is about 45 to 50 minutes to Peterborough.
Okay.
We're kind of halfway.
Yeah.
But it's not as busy on the highways going to Peterborough than it is to coming to Toronto.
Exactly. Plus, it's nice country up there.
Yes.
Towards Peterborough. So
that's right. That's right.
But DiDi, this has been great to have you
you.
on. Like I said,
Well, thank you for having me. I've enjoyed our conversation.
yeah, me too. And actually love to see your book sometime in person. And of
Okay,
course,
for
people
sure.
can go to the website DiDiLeMay.com. And
Yes.
next time you're in Toronto, DiDi, come and see us. You know, we're in the same old.
I'll bring coffees and donuts. How's that?
Well, we'll make the coffee, but donuts
Okay.
are always appreciated.
And give a hug to Harley and
And Rosie.
Rosie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Harley and
I'll
Rosie.
definitely do that. They're both taking a nap now.
Well,
I think that's what we're going to do.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
okay, DiDi. Thanks a lot for doing
Not
this.
Thank you so
Together.
much.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Okay.
Bye.
All right.
Bye-bye.
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 So there's DiDi, our
Wow,
final
that was
guest
so
of.
much fun.
Yeah, it's too bad we didn't have any of those books to kind of
Aw.
look through and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So anyway, thanks,
She was
Sandra.
fun.
She was
Thank
fun.
you, Hugh. It was a
Yeah.
great show today. A lot of fun. Interesting stuff.
Absolutely.
Interesting guests. That's what I love about this show. We get a slice of life with all these people, and it's a different life.
Every day
Really
it's
amazing.
different. So we're going to take a nap now, not together. Right? We got lots of couches here at that channel. You know, if you need a place to stay. Well, not everybody, but
This is not Bowmanville.
Dave found a place just down the street, real cheap, $29 a night, something like that. Just
It's
around
got to
the
be
corner.
motel something, right?
It's a something or other. We're going to get the details because population downtown is always increasing. So thanks,
Yes.
everybody, for tuning
Thank
in.
you. Good
We'll
night.
see you tomorrow right here on thatchannel.com.
Good night. Good day. My God, I'm thinking good night. Just totally gave myself away.